I'm Jennie Gage, and this is Life Take Two. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I am super honored to have you watching this video, and I mean that absolutely sincerely. I know that there is a lot of great content out there, and I appreciate that you've taken a moment to pause on mine. A little bit about me: I'm an ex-Mormon. I spent 44 years of my life in the Mormon church, born and raised 24 years of that as a little Mormon trad wifey. I called myself a housewife or a stay-at-home mom, but I guess that's not the terminology these days. I escaped both the Mormon church and the monster of a Mormon return missionary ex-husband in October of 2018. On my page here, I spill the tea about all things Mormon and trad wife, and just try to shine a light on women's issues and healthy relationships and I don't know, all kinds of stuff like that. First today, I'm going to show you something really cool. I just bought at the antique store while I share with you a story of a decision that I made about a month ago that ruined my life for 10 solid days. Because I'm on screen, my nails are always in the frame. So I try to keep them interesting because, I don't know, there's not much about my set that's very interesting, but I talk with my hands a lot. So I'm always like gel nailing or making sure that I have like a really pretty vibrant nail color on, but I usually keep them really short. I typically either just have my natural nail with nail polish or a short gel nail. And I do all my nails myself because my brain injury, I have chemical sensitivity. So going into nail salons is really problematic for me. I always leave with migraines and I risk having seizures, muscular tremors, things like that. So whenever you see nails on me, I've always done them myself. The first week of March, I had the Canadian broadcast system coming down to film me. They were here for a couple days because I'm going to be on a documentary up there in Canada, which I'm super excited about. And because I knew that my hands were going to be on camera, like a big camera, not just my little screen, I decided that it would be a really cool idea if I did one of those longer versions of the nails that I usually use. They put like the cutest little sticker. I love my antique store. Hey, nice pics. Anyway, I thought I'd do a long nail. I thought that this was just a great decision. It looks so pretty, you guys. God bless the Princess of Wales with this beautiful Diana. Look how tiny it is. This is made by Adams, and this is a little mini plate to celebrate the wedding. It says on the back, Royal Wedding, July 1981. Oh my gosh. Oh wait, there's another one. So I do these really long nails. Here's a picture. And they did look so pretty. So this picture was after I had like worn them for a week, right before I took them off. So they look a little bit thrashed there. They were so pretty. They were so sparkly. They were so glam. And they completely ruined my life. I was unable to button my jeans. I was unable to do any of the things that I typically do. And I realized in that 10-day time span that I am an incredibly active person. I'm always doing things, and all of the things that I'm doing require having 10 fingers to do them with. And honestly, like, it ruined my life in ways that I never thought possible for my life to be ruined. Okay, guys. God bless the Prince of Wales. Hold on, you guys. This is a little mini plate set to commemorate Charles and Diana's wedding, which just, it has so much meaning to me because I was a little girl. In 1981, I was 6 years old, about to turn 7. And my whole family woke up at like 3 in the morning so that we could go to our box TV with the rabbit ears, probably had tinfoil on top of the rabbit ears, and watch that wedding. And I was absolutely mesmerized by the long train. And I had a really similar hairstyle to Diana at that point. Here's a picture of me with like the Princess Diana. I actually don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg. Did I have that hairstyle because I had that hairstyle? Or did that hairstyle become a thing because of Diana Spencer? I don't know. Who knows? The world will never know the answer to that. But I was so enthralled by this beautiful princess. I'll tell you what, though. Diana has new meaning for me now that I am a divorced woman who barely survived life with my own husband. And with everything that happened to her, with her tragic death, with the things that she went through because of her marriage to this guy, she has become a hero of mine in so many more ways than she ever was when I was a little girl. When I saw this set at the antique store here earlier, I actually thought I might bring it home and throw his off the balcony and break it into 1,000 pieces. But I probably shouldn't do that, probably won't do that. I may just hang them up together as a reminder of what toxic love can do. And to the nails, because they actually do have something to do with Princess Diana and women like her that are held up as icons to all of us. During that 10-day period, I could not do anything. I had just begun working the pottery booth at our local market. And that very first weekend, my very first day of doing that, I had these long acrylics on and I had to bring Kevin with me to set up my whole entire booth. I could not open a Rubbermaid box because of these nails. I could barely work my iPhone to do the square because of these nails. And for the first time in my life, I found myself turning to Kevin for all kinds of different things. Can you scrub this pan? Can you pick up the paper clips that I just dropped on the floor because I can't find a magnet and I just couldn't get those little critters up. And it made me take a good hard look at the helplessness that we're sometimes forced into by our beauty standards. After just 10 days with those way too long acrylic nails on, I was rethinking everything about the burden of beauty and the wild ways in which society constrains women for the sake of beauty. I mean, let's be real. Women have had to put up with some seriously bizarre fashion trends and beauty standards throughout all of history, from foot binding to sky-high heels. It seems like looking good often comes at the cost of comfort and mobility. I took a design class in college, and one of the concepts that was new to me was the argument of form over function or function over form. So, for instance, if you're designing a building, is that building going to be more beautiful and more focused on the architectural uniqueness? Or is it just going to be a very basic, pragmatic, high-functioning building? And of course, the best designers marry both of those things, where something is high-functioning, but also beautiful. Unfortunately, we often sacrifice function for design. And it's really interesting to me that when it comes to what we consider traditional gender roles, somewhere in history, we decided that men were going to be functional and that women were going to be highly aesthetic. Thus, the foot binding and other horribly atrocious things. And while some of those things are ancient history, like foot binding, thankfully, others are still very much alive today, proving that society just can't let women be comfy. Let's talk for just a minute about the infamous Chinese foot binding. Imagine having your feet wrapped so tightly as a child that they stop growing and the bone collapse in on each other in the name of beauty. This was the reality for many Chinese women for centuries because some man decided that lotus feet were the coolest thing in the world. We can look at that now and think the fact that a deformed, mutilated foot was elegant to anybody is horrifying, but we don't often look at the things about our society. Let's talk corsets. These medieval torture devices were all the rage for centuries, squeezing women into the tiniest ways. They looked so beautiful, but the price of that was crushed ribs, trouble breathing, and passing out at inconvenient moments. Like you're out in public at the opera and just whoop. They've mostly gone out of style now, but shapewear and waist trainers still keep the tradition alive, making sure women are still sucking it in for the sake of beauty. Then, of course, there's a great bra debate. A generation just before me was out there burning them and refusing to wear them. Now we're kind of a mix. They're there for support, but they're annoying, they're uncomfortable. Sometimes they're downright painful. The underwire digs in, the straps slip, and let's not even talk about the joy of taking it off at the end of the day. Society has convinced us that we need them, that we have to cover all that up and it has to be in a certain pushed up shape. But do we really? And then pair that Victoria's Secret bra with that teensy little lacy thong, and you'll be thinking about your undies literally all day long. How about a little TMI? My undies and bras and socks are all organic cotton made by a company that supports women and planet Earth. It's called PAC. I've personally been boycotting Victoria's Secret for a long time. High heels are another big culprit in this long list of beauty-based restrictions. Like, they look really amazing, but after a couple of hours, your feet feel like they've been personally victimized. I remember a sales job that I had when I was in my 20s, and I had all kinds of high heels. Like, that was just the standard in our office. I was doing cold calls where I was parking in parking lots and then walking through high-rise buildings in downtown Phoenix for hours at a time, causing all kinds of problems with my feet, ankles, and legs. And it always made me mad that the guys that I was with, just in like their regular work shoes, I couldn't even keep up with them. They were always like 10 steps ahead of me. Here I am, tottering on toothpicks through the halls of these buildings. You guys. I didn't have that job for very long because I would eventually quit and become a stay-at-home housewifey. But had I been in that job for very long, I could have suffered what a lot of women do suffer with, the long-term damage from wearing high heels, with bunions, bad posture, spine and other skeletal problems, etc. Despite all this, women are expected to rock heels at work, at parties, at weddings, any formal event that you go to, and just even a night out in the town. You guys, I wore high heels just to take my kids shopping at Target because the community that I lived in, that was kind of the expectation. I guess flats just don't scream boss lady or sexy mom. I don't know. And it's not just our wardrobe. It's not just a little bit of lace up our crack and the wires digging into our ribs. Long hair comes with its own set of challenges. It gets caught in everything. It takes forever to wash and style. And it requires a small fortune in hair products, which is one of the reasons why the beauty industry is such a big deal, because women who were staying home really didn't have much to spend money on. So, I don't know, let's give them beauty products. They're just sitting at home anyway. That as well be washing their glowing locks. Modern men decided to cut their hair, shave their faces. But society still insists that long, flowy locks are the mark of femininity. So many women still keep up the struggle. Not the 4Bs, though. Those girls cut the heck out of their hair. It's one of their acts of rebellion. I didn't even spend a minute on hoop skirts and all of the deaths by wood stove that women suffered until we decided to get rid of those. Well, so now we're modern and we have the tight little pencil jeans and the short skirts. Our skinny little jean looks so cute, but they definitely make simple movements like sitting, breathing, just existing way more complicated. Oh, and on the flip side, short skirts come with a whole different set of issues requiring constant adjusting and strategic sitting, which we've all done. No matter what, women just can't seem to win when it comes to our clothing. At the end of the day, women's fashion has always come with a price, and it's comfort, mobility, and sometimes sanity. And that leads me back to Princess Diana. When we see these iconic women like this, we may have sympathy for some of the things that they've gone through in life. Like, we certainly sympathize for the marriage and just the way that the palace treated her. We obviously sympathize with Diana for the paparazzi and the stalking that would lead to her death. But I don't think that we often think about the fashion traps that these women are in and the way that they have a little bit of suffering and discomfort every single day because of these very gendered beauty standards that, again, keep women stuck. Well, Prince Charles only had to wear really constraining clothing for special events with all of the pomp and circumstance. Princess Diana really never had a day that she could just flip into a pair of jeans, walk around in her Vans and a t-shirt without a bra and enjoy herself. She was always squeezed, strained, coiffed, and teetering on an itsy-bitsy little pair of high heels. And she was spectacularly princessy and gorgeous. But at what price? Certainly even in my lifetime, beauty standards have changed and created greater flexibility for people to dive into their own personal style and express themselves in a variety of ways. But I don't think it's changed as much as it needs to. While some of these trends are changing, the pressure to prioritize beauty over ease and comfort is still very real. And I just hope that one day looking good and feeling good won't be mutually exclusive. But until then, I feel like all of us are going to keep suffering in the name of fashion, like I did for 10 days with too long nails. So here's the challenge, ladies, and this is a challenge that I'm throwing down to myself as well as you. Why not change the game? Instead of buying into trends that make life harder, why not embrace fashion that works for us? Let's stop treating comfort and confidence as if they're opposites, because they're not. Whether it's ditching the high heels for sneakers, rocking a short haircut because it's low maintenance and frees up time to do other things, or just saying no to shapewear because you're uncomfortable and it hurts, it's time to stop making ourselves uncomfortable just to fit impossible beauty standards. True beauty should never be about suffering. It should be about owning your look your way. I do think that there are certainly special occasions when it's okay to kind of step out of comfort. I put on high heels and a little too much makeup and curled my hair a little too curly when Kevin took me to the ballet. But sometimes it just feels fun to be a fancy peacock, and I think that that's okay once in a while. But at the end of the day, it's absolutely ridiculous that being a woman has to hurt so much and just be so inconvenient and so expensive. I think it's time to say no to that. It drives me crazy that while I'm in the middle of getting ready for the day, Kev will pop into the bathroom, take a shower, dry his hair, brush his hair. He's ready. And I've only gone from the mascara on this eye to the mascara on that eye. And I still have like another half an hour in the bathroom when he's already like done with his breakfast and ready to go for the day. Gotta say that while I feel like Meghan Markle's new show is a little bit disingenuous, that could be its own whole total video. I would like to see her not in a kitchen and not making candles or whatever. But I love to see her looking casual and owning her beauty in a way that this generation of princesses wasn't able to do. So really beautiful, really inspiring. And that's it. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comment. And one question that I have for you is this. Is there one thing about your personal beauty standards that you wish that you could let go of but can't? And if I was answering that in my own comment section, here is what I would say. For a long time, because I have somewhat large breasts, I was always roped into these push-up bras with all this underwire. I now just wear like a really soft, organic wireless bra. And I am so glad that I let go of that standard. I wish that I had just emotionally been able to do that decades before. Also, being a Mormon girly, there was a lot of pressure to sunless tan. And I live in Arizona where a lot of our skin shows all the time. I only gave that a couple of years ago, and it was partly for chemical exposure reasons and also because of budgetary reasons. And I wish that I had been able to give that up long ago, because the having to be tanned every single day thing is ridiculous. Squishy bra, stretchy skinny jeans, tennis shoes,